Now, unless you're in business, you're a business owner, payroll tax is probably something you're unlikely to care too much about. But to a growing business here in Queensland, payroll tax is an additional tax imposed upon businesses once their payroll reaches $25,000 a week. That's about 14 employees when compared to the average weekly earnings for full-time Australian workers. So what is payroll tax? Well, put simply, it's a spiteful tax forced upon employers countrywide for being outstanding business people. And while the threshold differs from state to state, I actually see it as a lazy, cruel tax that prevents wage growth and punishes those who want to expand their business. And to make matters worse here in Queensland, the Labor government recently added an additional mental health levy to businesses who pay more than $10 million in annual taxable wages. Why? I've been in business myself, and I have to admit that I am tired of business people being the fall guy for the mental well-being of Queensland employees. Honestly, people have got to get their act together, because employers should not be responsible for the mental state of an employee that's caused outside of work hours. The mental health tax is again another unnecessary tax placed upon business who ultimately add it to the cost of groceries and every other item they sell. So let me pose this question to you. With so much talk from the major parties about reducing cost of living and economic security for our state, why haven't they raised the idea of abolishing payroll tax and the mental health levy? What if Queensland took a daring leaf out of Sir Joh Bjelke-Petersen's playbook and abolished both of these unnecessary taxes the same way he got rid of death duties? Because firstly, there would be an immediate release of the handbrake on growth for businesses throughout Queensland. And secondly, it's one less hidden tax you'd be forced to pay, because no matter how concealed or masked or shrouded this tax is, it's just another tax that's passed on to you, the consumer. You're it. And don't think you're not. So if you're feeling the pinch when it comes to the cost of living, a 4.95% saving on payroll tax to Australia's biggest companies would result in huge savings on your annual grocery bill. Just think if farmers or transport companies, manufacturers, energy suppliers and so many other businesses didn't have to pass on this payroll tax, cost of living would be a whole lot cheaper. And if we ignore the scourge of payroll tax, manufacturers will continue to shift their operations offshore, where wages in China and Indonesia, India, other developing nations are a fraction of the cost they are here in Australia, and so too their price on energy. Queensland could lead the way, just like Sir Joh did in 1978. Payroll tax is a tax on employment, and abolishing it would honestly stimulate the economic growth of our state. It would attract businesses to Queensland. It would reduce the admin burden by allowing businesses to focus on the development and innovation instead of compliance. And it would also encourage workforce development. Because let's face it, if Queensland removed the penalties associated with employing staff, more businesses would invest in our state. We would see an increase to employment, not a decrease. And we would see improvements in social outcomes over the long term. I'm right, aren't I? I think it's time that Queensland had a robust discussion about abolishing payroll tax. What do you reckon? Don't be shy. Chime in, have your say. I'm James Ashby. I'm running for the Queensland seat of Keppel in this next state election. You can like and follow this page, but more importantly, give One Nation your vote at this year's October 26 election.
One nation, we got the guts to say what you're thinking.